Hey guys, it's Prince Rich with RTG Call Center Solutions, and in today's video, I've got a special guest with me to show you guys Talkdesk CXA, which is their new agentic AI platform. I have a special guest, Katie Clark with Talkdesk. Katie, first and foremost, thank you so much for being here, and thanks for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. Super excited. We're going to talk about all things agentic AI, automation, multi-agent orchestration, so I'm really looking forward to this.
First, before we get into what that is, can you tell the viewers what it is that you do at Talkdesk?
Yeah, of course. So I'm a director of product marketing at Talkdesk. I cover our CXA platform, and I've been at Talkdesk for a long time, almost 5 years. So it's been a fun journey, especially with the introduction of generative AI, now agentic AI, multi-agent orchestration. It's been a real fun ride, especially working on a number of projects like this. I'm excited to talk about that with you guys all today.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know, I actually found out about this new agentic AI Talkdesk CXA from a random LinkedIn post that I saw that Talkdesk made. And when I saw it, I commented on it and I said, hey, that thing, I want to demo it. And they hooked me up with Katie. So Katie, really quick, before we jump into this use case that you're going to show and that we're going to comment and just conversate on, can you tell the viewers, because there's probably a lot of people that are watching this that are like, what the heck is agentic AI in the general sense, in layman's terms? What is it?
Yeah, so this is agentic AI and customer experience automation. So it's almost putting together agentic AI and automation in one, and leveraging a team of AI agents to all work together to orchestrate an outcome for a customer. For in this case, what we're going to talk about and what we're going to show is a healthcare example where multi-agent orchestration is basically leveraging a team of sophisticated, independently working AI agents and multiple sub-agents over voice to resolve a patient issue, basically navigating healthcare workflows and external data from pre-integrated systems that would typically require multiple human handoffs. So while you might think about, your traditional team is all independent human agents, these are AI agents that are all independently doing tasks, achieving their outcomes, and then working together to progress a user journey.
Hey, before we move on, I'm assuming the reason you're watching this video is because you're searching for contact center service for your sales agents, team members, or call center. I want to remind you about our free consulting service to help you figure out which contact center service is best for you. We represent all the major contact center service providers in the USA, and we're paid by referrals only, so our consulting service is absolutely free. If you'd like my help, all you have to do is visit our website at www.rtgcallcentersolutions.com, and you can request help from my team and I via our Contact Us page. Filling out the form is super easy and takes less than a couple of minutes. So, if you're looking for new contact center service for your business, we can help. A link to our website is also in the description below this video. All right, let's jump right in. Let's show them the use case and talk about it a bit.
Awesome. And so before I hit play, so this is pre-recorded. What we're going to do is I'm going to interrupt this as we go to kind of talk about some of the things that we're seeing. What you're looking at right now is this demo conversation is a voice conversation. But what you're looking at right now is a visual guide of our Talkdesk AI Agent Designer interface that's going to show you where each AI agent or sub-agent picks up the conversation as it progresses. So for the patient, for the agent, they're having a phone conversation, but for all of you who are watching this is just a helpful guide to see where is one agent starting, where is another one picking off from. So that's what you're looking at right now is inside the Talkdesk platform in the AI Agent Designer interface. Hopefully that's also helpful context as we get going. So I'm going to hit play and we're going to listen to our AI agent and our patient have a conversation.
Thank you for calling Indigo University Health. How can I assist you today?
Yeah, hi. Just got a text message about an issue with a prescription refill, and I was trying to refill my levothyroxine. I was just calling to figure out what's going on.
I can assist with that. Let me start by verifying your information. Can I please get your date of birth so I can look up your record?
Yeah, sure. It's January 15th, 1987.
Thank you. It looks like it's been...
So I'm going to pause it right there. One thing I want to talk about that just happened, you may not realize, is identity validation. So what the agent has just done is asking for the date of birth, also using some AI-driven biometric and information-based authentication. They are ensuring that the patient is who they say that they are. That's automatically sort of saving time and energy when the patient doesn't have to repeatedly verify their identity. As this conversation progresses, they're not going to have to verify their identity again and again, because the multi-agent orchestration workflow is going to be able to remember that and just keep carrying on. The fact that we're able to, use that identification and reduce the risk of fraud without the extra workload for both the patient or human agent, it's going to protect both the patient and the healthcare provider. So already that patient identification is the first step, but that is something that I wanted to call out because it's really important, especially for your regulated industries like healthcare, for banking. Putting that right in, that's not something that the patient needs to do in another step. It's already right included in the conversation.
I've got a question about that before you move to the next part. So obviously Talkdesk can integrate with lots of different CRMs, the compatible ones, and potentially even stuff like OpenAI and whatnot. I'm assuming if somebody is using the medical records and or CRM software that is Talkdesk compatible and the data is connected, it also means the AI agent can also see that client data with regards to the identification process you're talking about as well.
Definitely. So we do have pre-integrated connections to electronic health record systems like Epic. They are checking that data in real time to make sure that things are up to date. And we're actually going to see that throughout the rest of this conversation. There's going to be a couple of points where it's referring back to information that's been updated in the EHR, or it's going to go and update information in the EHR based on how this conversation is going. Those integrations are super key. And actually one of the key benefits and one of the advantages of Talkdesk multi-agent orchestration is leveraging what we call our Talkdesk data cloud. All of those integrations across those systems pulling into one, unified place to make sure that the AI agents are giving the best experience they can, using the most personalized, information, using information to give a personalized experience is really, really important. Now, of course, as we're watching a healthcare use case, want to make sure I also address that, the data is secure though. We're not sharing this information back outside the walls of Talkdesk. It's all secure within the EHR. It's referencing information and making sure it's stored in the right place. So we're not, just sharing patient information out into the open or back to, other LLMs or things like that. So it's all make sure that we're keeping things secure, especially when it comes to PII or other patient information. Hopefully I answered your question.
Oh, that absolutely answered the question.
Perfect. Well, let's carry on with this conversation. So we've just identified who this person is, and he's looking to refill a prescription. Let's just see how this continues to go.
More than a year since your last visit. To refill your levothyroxine prescription, we'll need to schedule a primary care appointment. Would you like me to set that up for you?
Wait, what? You're telling me that I need to have an appointment to refill my prescription? That doesn't make any sense.
I understand this might be unexpected. Regular appointments and check-ins with your doctor are essential to monitor the effectiveness of the levothyroxine treatment. Your doctor will perform blood work to ensure your thyroid hormone levels are within the desired range, and the continued dosage is optimized for your overall health. Would you like to schedule an appointment with your primary care physician, Dr. Reed Richards?
Oh, yeah. My bad. I forgot about that. That makes sense.
Pausing here again, because a lot just happened, and it's very cool. Because the agent, it's a prescription policy validation, basically, against patient records. So not only does the AI agent know that it needs to make sure that before someone can refill this specific prescription, they need to have blood work within the last year. They're checking the integrated EHR to see when was their last appointment. It was more than a year ago. It cannot proceed with refilling that prescription. Not only is it actually, checking that information, I love that it's providing an explanation to the patient, because it can tell that he's frustrated. Well, why do I have to do this? And he's interrupting. Yeah. There's no frustration on the agent's side, and the agent is going through and say, okay, here we're following the policy that's in place and explaining why this needs to be done, and already also accessing that EHR data to know who his primary doctor is. Saying, well, I can get you in and schedule you following the procedure that's laid out, all again, automatically happening within the same conversation. Really, really important for ensuring accuracy, reducing errors, and just making sure that we're keeping patients safe if they do need to have a blood test in the last year. And you can tell that on the other side of that, once the agent provides that information about why you need to be coming in, it's like, oh, you're right. I do need to do that. Okay, I understand. But it's really powerful what you've just seen in that small snippet, because we're not just confirming if a prescription is valid, it's cross-referencing against the patient's complete medical history through that EHR, which we just talked about.
Yeah.
And the current policy guidelines in real time. And it's entirely based on the guardrails that the healthcare organization establishes. And that's another key part of this is those AI guardrails. Everybody's really talking about this, making sure that the agentic AI tools that you have in place aren't going rogue. There's guardrails that, our customers can put in place to make sure that they're staying within policy guidelines and not going out of bounds. So really cool. Let's keep going. So now he said, yes, you're right. I do need to have my blood tested. Yep, let's get me scheduled. And now we're going to watch the next part of this conversation.
Yeah, let's schedule an appointment.
All right. We'll go ahead and schedule a primary care appointment for your prescription refill. Would you like to see your primary care physician, Dr. Reed Richards, for this visit?
Yeah, sure. That is who I usually see.
Dr. Reed Richards' first available appointment is on Monday, June 30th at the Plymouth Clinic.
That's too long. Is there any way that I can see another person sooner?
Absolutely. We can look at other available doctors who can see you sooner. Would you prefer to see Dr. Patrick Kane or Dr. Bruce Banner? Dr. Kane is...
So I guess if I see a different doctor, does it matter like who I actually see? Will I still be able to get my prescription refilled?
Yes, you can still get your prescription refill with any of our primary care doctors. Would you like me to check availability for Dr. Patrick Kane or Dr. Bruce Banner?
So if that's the case, I guess I don't care which doctor I see. I'm just more of looking for the earliest available appointment.
Okay, let's see who is available soon.
I'm going to pause it right here really quick, just to make a quick interjection to talk about, I love how much our patient is interrupting our agent. To be like, I don't care who I see, can I see, just I want to get in as soon as possible, which is, how often does that happen in, you're talking to a real human and you're a patient.
I was going to say the same thing. I was going to say the same thing, because the thing that impressed me with what you just displayed there was, normally with traditional IVR, interactive voice response, it'll say something like, oh, well, now we're going to send you to this department. And I'm sitting there thinking, that's not what I want to go to. I already talked to that department. They told me, and you can't interrupt. You're just kind of caught in the flow.
Exactly.
So I wanted to ask, that's normal with this, that the AI knows if you interrupt to ask something, or if you feel like things are going off track, or if you need clarification, it doesn't just lead you on, essentially. You have some sense of control.
It is so much more dynamic of that natural back and forth of having a conversation with a real human. Because you're right, if you're in a traditional, or even if you're using a virtual agent or an autopilot that's deterministic, it's not going to be able to take in that interruption, and it's going to maybe hear a key word and be like, oh, you're right, I'll send you somewhere else. Whereas this is dynamically reacting to the conversation and understanding, okay, I can tell there's frustration. I'm hearing what's being discussed, and all right, let me actually take in that information and change what I'm doing to take action in that same interaction. Say, okay, I don't need to keep going on the explanation of here's all the other patients, all the other doctors you can see. You don't really care about that. You just want to see somebody as soon as possible. I understand. And that's what's really powerful about these AI agents, is being able to react to information and take new action, or actually do something in that same call, rather than just, oh, I have this predetermined flow, and if it doesn't follow this flow perfectly, I freak out, or you got to go talk to somebody else. And again, I love this section so much because, how many times have you maybe, and he's getting really frustrated, but you might be actually, interrupting someone and saying, I don't care who I'm seeing. I just want to get in as soon as possible. My prescription is about to be, I'm about to be out of this. I need to get in as soon as possible. So that is really, I just want to highlight that the interjections and interruptions piece. And then I'll keep going through this where they're going to go through and access all of these different calendars and different information and be able to actually get this scheduled. So I know I keep interrupting a lot, but there's a lot of great stuff to talk about.
Dr. Bruce Banner has an appointment in Minnetonka on Monday, June 2nd at 10 a.m. Would that work for you?
Monday's tough. What about Wednesday that week?
Dr. Patrick Kane has appointments.
Oh, actually, I'm sorry. I just looked at the wrong day on my calendar. I'm going to be out of town on Wednesday. Actually, that week, only Friday works for me. Is there any availability on Friday?
Yes. On Friday, June 6th, Dr. Bruce Banner has appointments at the Edina Clinic. Would you prefer 9:30 a.m., 11 a.m., or 4 p.m.?
Just 1 second. Let me double check my calendar.
Sure. Take your time.
Did you say one of the options was 4 p.m.?
Yes, that's correct. Dr. Bruce Banner has an appointment available at 4 p.m. on Friday, June 6th at the Edina Clinic. Would you like to book that time?
Yeah, let's book it.
Great. I've scheduled your appointment with Dr. Bruce Banner.
I'm pausing right there because something I just wanted happened a few seconds ago, but something I also just want, all of that back and forth. Again, love the interruptions. We've already talked about that, but accessing all of those different doctors, calendars across different clinics, being able to provide all that information. And then intentionally he pauses and, when she's listing all those dates that are available on Friday, and he's like, hold on, I need to go look. Is 4 p.m. available in a traditional flow with maybe, with an IVR or even a, predeterministic virtual agent? A long pause like that might almost make that agent short circuit and be like, oh, are you still there? Or they can't remember what even they've just repeated back to you. I love that the agent doesn't say, oh, here's all the dates I gave you, the dates and times I gave you again. He's asking specifically, did you say 4 p.m.? And it's saying, yes, I did. 4 p.m. is available, instead of almost going back to this pre-canned response, which would be, oh, let me repeat the entire section again. Here's all the dates and times this person is available. It's responding to those specific types of questions, which may seem very small, but it's one of the really interesting and powerful things about agentic AI is it has that nuance. There's so much more nuance available in these conversations than we've previously seen before. It's pretty cool. Okay, so now he's booked. And now let's see, we got a couple more things. And I know, I promise, I every time I stop, I hope it is interesting and valuable.
This is good information.
Yeah, good. All right, let's keep going.
Friday, June 6th at 4 p.m. at our Edina Clinic. Would you like to confirm your insurance details now to expedite the check-in process before your appointment?
Yeah, sure.
I see you updated your insurance to United Healthcare at the beginning of May through a chat conversation. Can you confirm that this is still your current insurance provider?
Yeah, that's correct.
Great. And we have your address as 221B Baker Street, Plymouth, MN 55446. Is that still correct?
Yep, that's my address.
Perfect. You're all set.
Pausing here for two other things. So what you're seeing here is, you can tell, there's this scheduling management, and then there's kind of three sub-agents. So we've just seen from the scheduling and now the insurance validation, multiple sub-agents being activated. And this is this idea when we're talking about multi-agent orchestration, it's not just a patient identification and scheduling management, but that scheduling management has multiple components. How do you successfully schedule an appointment or a meeting? There's going to be the actual appointment itself, but in order to do that, we also need to make sure that their insurance information is up to date. And these are independent agents, but they're sub-agents of a larger goal and activity. And activating these specialized sub-agents based on context, it's allowing for faster resolution of these more multi-step tasks, distributing the workload across generally these AI agents. So, recapping all of these different sub-agents being activated on top of the ones that we've already been, even the personal identification, and we'll have some more at the end of this demonstration. They're laser focused on their individual tasks. Again, whether scheduling or ensuring the patient is prepared for the appointment itself. And it's all seamless. Again, it's just going from one thing right into the other. The other thing I just wanted to mention, again, very, very small, might have been missed. When the agent is asking for insurance verification, it's leveraging AI memory of a previous insurance change. And, they're verifying those insurance details while remembering the past changes, looking at that integrated data, saying, hey, I see that you updated this in early May. So that's still correct. That is something, it's a game changer. AI memory doesn't just check the insurance status in real time. It's remembering the changes to the patient's policy and really automatically adapting the conversation. What's also important to note, and we didn't see this as part of this, but I have seen, the larger setup of this. This patient had made that change over a different channel with a different autopilot, with a different virtual agent over chat. Because that data cloud and all of the integrated systems are pooling that information, this agent knows that when it was done, what was updated, and they're again able to have that seamless conversation, which might surprise somebody saying, oh, wow, this agent really knows a lot, because all of that integrated data lives inside data cloud. And with our it doesn't live within data cloud, it's being consolidated and living inside that EHR, which is really, really powerful. I know that was a lot. I just talked about multiple sub-agents, talked about AI memory, and all of this sounds very, not complicated, but this is how it presents. It's just in a seamless phone conversation with a patient. But there's so much that's going on behind the scenes that folks may not realize, especially when multi-agent orchestration is done really well. We've scheduled, we've checked insurance. We're in the final steps of preparing for this appointment. I got a few more things up my sleeve to show you, which are pretty cool. So let's keep going.
For calling Indigo University.
So that I actually have another question. You brought up the insurance. What will this appointment actually cost me?
Run a benefits check. Since this is a primary care appointment, only your copay will apply. The copay based on your coverage is $35. We will look to collect the copay as part of your check-in when you arrive for your appointment.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, so pausing before we get into our next cool thing. What she just did, she's so lovely. I'm just going to call her she. So what the agent has done is he's asked, how much is this going to cost me? Again, another very typical thing as you're preparing for an appointment. You might have to, if you were talking to a human, they might have to transfer you to another department, or maybe they're just gonna, can I put you on hold for a second? I'm going to need to look that up. I don't have that information available to me right now, but I can find that out for you, but I need to put you on hold. That is really typical. But here, this agent that's just been activated, again, another agent is part of this multi-agent orchestration. They're accessing EHR data, we've talked about that a lot today, to accurately determine financial responsibility. So they're able to also offer that real-time insight into the patient costs, which I love. As a patient myself, I want to know how much this is going to cost me when I'm preparing to go in for an appointment. Yeah, of course you want to know that. But they're pulling up, it's a skill that you're actually giving this AI agent when you set all of this up. They're pulling up real-time data from the EHR without that back and forth billing departments. And the fact that it's pre-integrated is one of the most important things. And I would say that to anybody who's considering, employing an AI agent or a multi-agent orchestration flow within their company, making sure that those systems like EHRs or other CRMs, whether it's something in financial services, banking, retail, whatever it is, making sure those are pre-integrated, because it makes it really easy to build and for these AI agents to execute these actions. They're offering that clear insight because they're able to access all of that information directly. And it's also really easy to build, which we can do at another time to show exactly how this gets built. But it's really important to make sure that information is readily available so that an agent like this can provide the information directly to the patient. we just caught a little bit of the last thing that I want to show here.
I speak fluent Spanish, so I already knew where this was going.
Right, exactly. So let's play this in as he, on the fly, is switching to Spanish.
Habla español?
Claro que sí. ¿Hay algo más en lo que te pueda ayudar?
¿Qué debo llevar a mi cita?
Para tu cita, por favor trae tu tarjeta de seguro y una identificación con foto. También es posible que te pidan completar algunos formularios, así que llegar unos minutos antes te ayudará a tener tiempo para eso. ¿Necesitas alguna otra información?
No, es todo.
Muy bien. Gracias por llamar a Indigo University Health Valley. Esperamos verte en tu cita. Que tengas un día maravilloso.
Gracias. Adiós.
Adiós, Ali. Que estés bien.
That's
So
pretty
that
cool.
I love that so much.
I've got a question about what we just watched. How many languages currently? I mean, I'm assuming it's got your major ones like Spanish, but how many languages currently does you guys Agentic AI support?
From a language perspective, we support all the major languages. We have a full knowledge base. I'm happy to share that link. Everything from your majors like French, Spanish, Portuguese, Mandarin to even some of the Bengali, Bulgarian.
Oh, wow.
And things like that. So, and it's really important. So as we were just seeing, what I love again is that patient has just changed language in the middle of a phone call
And
with
it knew
no
to switch
warning.
gears.
Without any warning. But the other thing too, that's really important, not just the language adaptability, which, that's cool in itself, but something else I really like about how that conversation ends, it switches to Spanish and the agent just continues on its goal, which is closing out the conversation, making sure that they're taken care of, providing all of the information.
They don't
skip a beat.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not like, oh, we got to start back over because, you want to speak in Spanish? I forgot everything else that we just talked about. Picking right back up wherever it was. And then as they close out the conversation, thanks so much for calling Indigo University Health. Have a great day. Those are things as you look at, basic QM in human agent conversations. Make sure you end the conversation with a closing. Make sure you include the name of our company, things like that. It doesn't, these AI agents are incredibly sophisticated, and making sure you're hitting all of those points to deliver a great customer experience and the things that really matter to not just healthcare providers, but brands too. Everybody wants to make sure that every call is ended in a positive light. And it's really, I love that ending with that because he just switches to Spanish on a dime, or you can switch to another language on a dime. And the agent just can pick right back up and continue on without skipping a beat.
That's very human. To give you a real life experience that I had like that. As of now, I speak fluent Spanish, but I didn't about 6-7 years ago. And I had a client that contacted me that was like it was like an auto body shop in Texas. And the woman that called me, she was Latino. She was in the United States. She was Latino, but her English, she spoke English, but it wasn't really that good. We got through the majority of the questions and information that I needed from her to be able to help her out. And then she just kind of hit a wall with her English. And she was like, you know what? My daughter was born here. She works with me. I'm just going to have her hop on the phone and finish this with you. And I was able to do the same thing essentially that this did. Obviously, I can do that because I'm a human, but I'm impressed to see that could do that without having to start over from scratch. And, oh, well, now I don't have all the information in, Spanish or English or vice versa. That's pretty impressive.
It's definitely something in making sure that really no customers are feeling like the technology doesn't work for them. You're right. I mean, how many folks, they can, if English is your second language or, you're somewhere else and Spanish is your second language or, Bengali is. You want to make sure that, if the conversation in particular is getting maybe out of your depths, you want to just switch, you can. It's pretty amazing. And it's all about just delivering great experiences for not just patients, but for anybody who's calling in and might want to speak in their native language. So it's that's the last time I've paused. That is the end of the demonstration. We've seen a lot from identification to multi-agent, sub-agents being activated to schedule and verify policy information. Lots of interruptions. I love. Somebody said once when we were going through this that, gosh, if I was a human and someone was interrupting me that much, I think I'd have a hard time not getting frustrated. And this, AI agents,
it doesn't take it personal.
They don't take it personally. They don't get frustrated. So yeah. I mean, and again, I hope that everybody's treating even, I guess, our AI agents with respect, but somebody getting frustrated is not going to escalate the tone or the height of the conversation. It's just going to keep progressing, trying to make sure it's getting its job done. So hopefully that was really articulated, and it's just one glimpse of the power of multi-agent orchestration and customer experience automation. We're automating all of these touch points using agentic AI, integrating with EHRs, updating information, pulling information securely, and making sure, again, it's personalized and all happening in real time. So someone's getting their issue resolved in one phone call without having to do those transfers or delays. And it's pretty powerful stuff. It's really exciting, kind of the frontier that we're on with customer experience automation.
I've got a couple of questions for you, Katie, before we wrap this up. My first question is how easy or how hard or how complex or intricate is it to set this up in the general sense?
So that is what's really amazing about this. And I got to be part of building this in a hands-on way. And I think what we should do next, for instance, to showcase how this actually gets
in a separate video, like this is how easy this is to set up.
In a separate video that'll come. But it's as simple as, what you're looking at is that AI agent designer. It's drag and drop.
It looks like it's just drag and drop, like plug and play.
Right, you're plug and play. You are typing in what you need, the agent to accomplish. Give it its goal. What are the things you needed to remember? You're giving it its prompt. The skills that I was talking about with the integrations to the EHRs are all pre-built. So they're just drop downs. What information is it going to be pulling from? Building this takes, just a few minutes. Building a new agent literally takes just a few minutes. You can also, and then we can showcase this in a next video, but you can also test this in this console right here before it goes live. So you can see what your prompt is giving you back. Is your agent actually delivering the information? Right. You can kind of talk to it yourself before it goes live. And that's really important too, because you want to kind of see, hey, do I need to adjust this prompt a little bit? Is it accessing the right information the right way? But it's all happening here, not requiring heavy code, not requiring any code at all. And it's really easy to build these things out. So that's what's really powerful about these is that, end to end to build an agent just takes a few minutes to make sure it's all integrated within the rest of your flows. Again, it's just another sort of low code, no code, drag and drop experience. And so it's much more simple than I think a lot of people would think it might be, because that was quite sophisticated of an experience, but it is very, very basic to put together, which is really powerful too.
You know what this reminds me of? The way you just described that and the way this looks, the way you described how you set it up versus the way it may have, what people would perceive as, do you remember back when websites and everything was HTML and you needed website coders or a designer on retainer and this and that? And then came those companies, which we won't name in the video, like those block builders, as they call it. And then anyone who didn't know anything about how to build a website or HTML or CSS or any of that, they could just pay for a subscription for one of these website block builders and basically just drag and drop and have WordPress websites and really nice websites that look just like, a seasoned, college educated web designer did. That's almost what that reminds me of what you just described, how far the technology has come.
I think that you're so right. I mean, and again, there are ways that you can customize, Talkdesk to, if you want to go really deep and do some HTML and code and really sink your teeth in, absolutely. But, the drag and drop, user-friendly, making it accessible, reducing that lift on IT teams, reducing that lift on your operations or administrators to make changes, I mean, it's really a game changer, because you're right. What, you used to need to be really in the weeds and understand how to code or how to train AI.
Yeah.
Now it's all here. It's drag and drop. It's much more accessible, which I think also helps with just the general understanding across teams of understanding how it works, how it was built, and then it's also easy to improve. If you, we can get into this also later, but there's one of the great things about CXA is it's kind of a flywheel of using the data and information from interactions like this to inform, you're measuring it, and then you can also discover insights off of that and then build and then orchestrate again. It's this flywheel effect that what you're pulling in from these interactions, you can then go to improve the experience, in a few minutes in the future from things that you're learning. It's really powerful in terms of how you can continue to improve and iterate on the customer experience.
Final question. I know today's video was mostly geared towards healthcare, the demonstration, all that, but what for anybody who may be watching this who's not in the healthcare, telehealth, or telemedicine industry, what other industries have you guys at Talkdesk found gravitate towards this or find value in an agentic AI product such as this?
This is a great question. So yes, this is a healthcare example. One of many examples that we've got available. We, have customers and actually dedicated industry experience cloud for healthcare, which you just saw, payers and providers, banking and insurance and financial services, retail, massive, which I'll get into in a sec why, but we've also just announced a utility experience cloud just for the utility industry, travel and hospitality, all of these things. And I'll just call it a couple of them from like a use case perspective. Anybody who is, especially when we were talking about identification, anyone who's calling into a bank or their insurance provider, you need to make sure that you're, obviously authenticating who they are. Yeah. Maybe they're updating information, they're disputing something. We see a lot within banks, updating applications or submitting applications, needing to apply for a new loan or get the stat, not just the status, but again, like actually going through and submitting information to take action live. In retail, see that a lot with not just order statuses, but I need to change my order, or I have a dispute and I need to escalate that. How can we resolve that order issue? Those are all things that are perfect for multi-agent orchestration, because what might normally take multiple departments or escalations, you can accomplish a lot of those things within one orchestration view like this. And then again, I mean, even travel as well. How many times do you dread calling an airline? You can give a much improved customer experience for AI.
It's why I use a travel agent. I just, I won't call an airline until they switch to something like this.
If you can have a seamless experience and rebook your flight, find out where your bags are, get into a hotel, whatever it needs. But, it's also really interesting, and I could talk forever about this. You see this not just on the inbound side, but if somebody has, because customer experience automation also expands across all touch points and information. You can set up a trigger, say, somebody's flight has been canceled, send that person a text message and be like, all right, I see that your flight's been canceled. Let's work on getting you rebooked. And then you can have a fully agentic powered, automated experience to get them from point A to point B, literally, without needing the customer to have to initiate that. You can be proactive about it. And that's what's really powerful about this too, is in an automated fashion, being proactive to give better customer experiences. And so that's just a handful of the use cases, but happy for anybody who wants to learn more about Talkdesk customer experience automation and multi-agent orchestration across different industries and use cases. Would love to get connected with anybody who wants to learn more. I nerd out about it. It's so interesting and really, really powerful.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Katie, for being here and for your time. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. We're excited about this. And again, just appreciate the time and that conversation going through this. It's been really fun.
And speaking to what she just said about Talkdesk, would love the opportunity to talk with anybody who's watching this that's interested in diving deeper. That's what we do here at Rich Technology Group. Below this video, you'll be able to find information to contact us. Our service is 100% free, our consulting service, to be able to put you in touch with the powers that be over at Talkdesk. We've got contacts over there that can show you, possibly if you want to see a deeper demo of this, more specific to your business or more specific to your requirements, or what a quote-unquote agentic AI, example would look like in the general sense for you, along with, through us, special pricing from Talkdesk on the solution. Our information is below this video. As always, this is Prince Rich with RTG Call Center Solutions, your go-to guy for contact center solutions in the United States. I'll catch you again in the next video.